For the first time in what seems like a pretty long time, the panel brought to you by Sport Chek returns to Rogers Place. Tom Gazzola, Jack Michaels, and Bob Stauffer from the Oilers Radio Network. Guys, the Oilers play a good game in Boston on Sunday. Didn't win in a pretty way on Tuesday against the Coyotes, but the bottom line is they get 2 points, Jack, and they kind of keep pace with that pack that's hunting for that wild card spot.
Well, a certain colleague of ours would say it was Coyote ugly. I think we all know who that is, Mr. Principe. But having said that, the Edmonton Oilers, they don't, they've had some decent performances this year where they had nothing to show for it. And close only counts and horseshoes and hand grenades. So Edmonton needed a win however it came, and they got it. It's tough to find your legs after being on the road for 18 of the last 21 days. And in the final 30 minutes against Arizona, Edmonton's starting to find their legs. They pushed when they needed to. They found a way to get a semi-ugly third-period goal to tie it. And then Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, a thing of beauty in overtime to win it. And Cam Talbot gave him a better performance. In fact, he outplayed Arizona goaltender Scott Wedgwood. That, more than anything, I felt was the reason why the Oilers were able to slip past the Coyotes.
Bob, any way to explain what's kind of been like a Jekyll and Hyde type of performance from the Oilers over the last little bit here?
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
really,
how long do I have here?
As long as you want.
The fact of the matter is there's a couple sayings in sport, right? There's winning, and then there's misery. And the other saying is you don't critique a win. Right. So you know what? You take the 2 points. You're happy you got it. I think Jack hit on, for me, the theme for the Oilers as to how they get better. And that's Cam Talbot settles down. Cam Talbot would be the first to admit, even though he's faced high-caliber scoring chances by opposition teams, he's got to stop more pucks. Well, he's had 2 straight games where he's stopped more pucks than the opposition netminder, and that's part of the reason why the Oilers ultimately got wins.
And I think stopping pucks early, that Max Domi opportunity kind of set the tone early on.
Patrick Maroon just wanted to work him into the game. That's what happened there. So
strategy.
You know what? That happens once in a while, and we saw that a lot last year, right? Early in games, the Oilers with some egregious giveaways, and basically Talbot cleaned up the mess. So at times this year, Talbot's been the author of his own demise during games where he's turned pucks over in bad spots, had miscommunications with his defenseman. Fact of the matter is he's been solid 2 games in a row. He's going to need to continue it because the team that the Oilers are playing up next, they have a whole different level than the Arizona Coyotes in terms of their ability to score.
And that, of course, is the Toronto Maple Leafs, Jack. They come in after beating the Flames handily 4-1, and they swept the season series last year against the Oilers.
Well, they did, and, they were one of a handful of Eastern Conference teams to do that. I mean, Columbus, Toronto, those were tough matchups for Edmonton. And, a lot of people think, well, how do you contain Toronto's offense? And my philosophy would be different going into that Toronto game is I would be thinking no risk it, no biscuit. I mean, get up and after the Maple Leafs. Edmonton isn't any less skilled. And, as far as the Arizona game, let's not have revisionist history. Many of Edmonton's 47 wins came when they didn't necessarily have their A game. They won with their C-plus game the other night. I think it's fair to say they're going to need more than that against the Toronto Maple Leafs. But I don't necessarily think you need to play it like a road game. You've got to be content with matching Toronto line for line. There's going to be chances in the game. You've got a goaltender who's coming off a good performance. He's playing better. And let Cam Talbot clean up some of the spills that Edmonton is bound to have against a Toronto club where there are going to be chances on both sides. Don't be afraid of that. Embrace it.
How good does the defense have to be against what the Leafs bring? They're 16-9-1 this season. We know about their offensive threats, Bob.
Well, Toronto's got a deep offensive team. Their defense, frankly, from my perspective, is no better than Edmonton's even without Sekera in the lineup. And then goaltending-wise, I mean, some might say that's a push. Last year it wasn't a push. Talbot was better than Freddie Anderson. I will say this. I mean, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Mike Babcock. Any coach that can win, and Jack and me have joked about this before, if you can win a university title at the University of Lethbridge, that's like winning at Savannah State in football. That is a tough place to win.
They haven't been close since.
They've not.
Savannah State?
They won more games that year in the playoffs than they've won in the 23 since Babcock has been there. So he is a good coach. He makes teams better. The Leafs have tremendous young offensive players. They're deep at center. But the Oilers have the option now to go deep at center as well. So that could be a very intriguing matchup if Edmonton elects to continue, because they moved away from that in last night's game as they went for the push to get the equalizer. But if they continue to go McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent-Hopkins on separate lines.
These two will be back in the booth Thursday night as the Oilers take on the Maple Leafs. I've got you covered right here on EdmontonOilers.com.